Hello everybody, it's your man Brandon Stubbs here with another video here on YouTube on the Punch the Face station, I guess. I don't know, I'm still figuring this shit out. So apologies. I said I was gonna do these a lot more frequently, and I haven't quite lived up to that. So my apologies there, but nevertheless, we're here. We're doing this now, so we're live. Speaking of live, so full disclosure, as I'm doing this video, the original plan was to um, do this as a live stream during Teofimo Lopez's fight here with Jermaine Ortiz. But some things in regards to the YouTube will not allow me to do that. So maybe at a later date, we're going to do one of these videos where I'll be live watching the fight, talking about it, and interacting with people here on the YouTube channel. So that's something I want to do here later this year, hopefully sooner than later, but we'll see. So there's that part. This is also the part of where most people here on YouTube say, hey, like and subscribe, hit the buttons below, and all that stuff. So, but a lot to get into here. So it's been a minute since I have talked with you guys. Some things have changed, some things have not changed in boxing. Let's kind of start off here with the fight of that's going on here as I record this on a Wednesday. Fight that's going on here Thursday night, February the 8th, and that is Teofimo Lopez versus Jermaine Ortiz. Now, this is a fight here for Teofimo Lopez's championship. Forgive me, I have my notes here on my iPhone, so I will be looking down at my phone quite a bit to get information off of it, but y'all can bear with me. It's fine. It's okay. I'm still getting used to being back doing this. When I was doing this on the radio and the podcast, a lot easier to do this kind of stuff because no one was actually looking at my eyes as I was doing this. So there's that part. But Teofimo Lopez is fighting here this week, Super Bowl week in Las Vegas, against Jermaine Ortiz. Now, is it the fight that we thought we were going to get for Teofimo Lopez? No. Different factors, different reasons. It is what it is with that. It is boxing. I mean, we know these things happen, but Jermaine Ortiz is no punk. I think Jermaine Ortiz is a legitimate opponent. He's 17-1 himself. His lone loss was to Vasily Lomachenko. So he's a valuable opponent, and I think he challenged Lomachenko in that fight. Didn't get blown out of the water there. So I think he's a very viable opponent here for Teofimo Lopez. With Teofimo Lopez, you just don't know which version you're going to get, who you're going to get when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, because he's a different character. I don't think he's ever really cheated us in ring, so I'm not going to go that far. But he has had fights where he's kind of underwhelmed. I mean, the Sandor Martin fight was probably the one that kind of sticks out the most. And then asking, does he still have it? Then he goes out and beats a guy like Josh Taylor his last time out. Now, here he is here again here against Jermaine Ortiz. On paper, Teofimo Lopez has all the skills to win the fight. It's just how seriously is he taking his opponent and how much effort is he willing to put into the fight. They both looked in phenomenal shape at the weigh-ins today. So I don't think he's undertrained or underestimated his opponent he's going to have here in Ortiz. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to take care of business because I think he's looking at the bigger picture, which is a victory here can still hopefully potentially set up a fight between him and Devin Haney later this year, which would be a huge major payday for both these gentlemen. So let's hope that's the direction he's thinking. Let's hope that's what he's thinking here. That's what they do. They do that fight here later this year. That's the fight that would make the most sense for both these guys. I think it'd be a huge payday. And you would think would be easier for them to do versus either one of them trying to go after Tank Davis there with PBC. So let's hope he takes care of business against Jermaine Ortiz. I look for him to do that. I don't think he's going to knock him out, and I think he's actually going to be a little bit more competitive fight than some people will think. I do look for Teofimo Lopez to win on the cards via unanimous decision. I look for him to win 7 to 8 rounds to 5 or 4. So look, 8 to 4 range. I think, like I say, Ortiz is going to win some rounds. He's going to give some effort. He's going to make Lopez work the entire fight. But I just think, just from a skill set, toolbox. Let's say skill box, toolbox wise, Teofimo Lopez has all the goods. Again, phenomenal fighter. Sometimes you just wonder where his headspace is at for obvious reasons, for just some of the things he says in these interviews and whatnot. So yeah, I look for him to win there. The undercard isn't. It's got a lot of the same names you see. Some of the prospects and guys are building into contenders on the fight card. Probably the most notable fight here on the fight card is Keyshawn Davis versus Jose Pedraza. Definitely the biggest step up fight here for Keyshawn Davis. He had the issues here with the failed drug test from down when he fought in Texas. And now he's fighting Pedraza, biggest opponent, more maybe the most well achieved opponent to his credits thus far for Davis. So this is going to be kind of one of those things that don't want to say a sink or swim per se. I think for Top Rank to give him an opponent like Pedraza right now, they just want to make sure that Keyshawn Davis is the goods, that he is the guy that they think he is and that he says he is. He goes out there, he blows out Pedraza. I think the sky's the limit for him. You're gonna start seeing them put even more efforts to push him forward, going forward. So it's a very pivotal, pivotal fight for him at this rate because this tells Top Rank, okay, if he goes out there, he beats him, which I do think Keyshawn Davis is going to win the cards. Again, another unanimous decision win. I think they're going, seems like they go 10 or 12 rounds here. This 10-round fight. So I do think he's got the skill set to beat Pedraza, the younger legs. While I don't think Pedraza's shot in any way, shape, or form, I just think the younger legs are going to prevail. I look for Keyshawn to win like 8 rounds to 2 there in that regards. But he's going to win this fight. But like I said, what this sets up for him going forward and for Top Rank is, okay, this is another young star that we can probably now start putting more of a push behind and trying to promote even more. And probably his next time out, you'll probably see him headline his own card. I know that's something when I talked to him a couple years ago in Vegas, he was saying that was the plan, was eventually to have him and his two brothers all headline a card in their hometown. So with one of the brothers, the older brother being undefeated, the younger one I know is competing amateurly. I don't know if that'll still be the plan, but look for Keyshawn Davis, picks up a spectacular win or dominating performance here this weekend, or this week for that matter. Look for him to start headlining his own cards going forward for Top Rank. So he's on there. Again, I'm having to look down here on my thing here. Who else is on here for we should keep an Abdullah Mason's also on the undercard as well. Yeah, Abdullah Mason's another one of these guys, young guys, that's steadily improving, has very much a mean streak for himself in ring that I like. You'll see him on the undercard. So that is Thursday. Again, with it being Super Bowl week in Vegas, the whole ideal of this is to get that overflow of those people coming in town to Vegas to come to the fight and watch that. So again, that'll be on ESPN, ESPN Plus. If you're in Las Vegas, that's at the Mandalay Bay Michelob Ultra Arena. So they're in Mandalay Bay. And if you are in Vegas and if you're watching this, and again, I have to reiterate as I put on social media, don't ask me for anything. I can't get you into the fight Thursday. I can't get you any tickets or know anybody who has tickets for Super Bowl. I don't know where to watch the game at. Don't ask me. And I've gotten a lot of that here this week. For someone who frequents Vegas, stop asking me. I can't help you. I'm not gonna help you. Let me just be very blunt. So there's that part. Let's get to some other news here since the last time I spoke with you guys. So PBC now has officially announced their first foray into Amazon Prime and airing fights there. And guess what? It's a pay-per-view through Amazon Prime. Keith Thurman moving up in weight to face Tim Tszyu. Okay. Willie Romero versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz. That's your co-feature. Honestly, I'm going to be quite honest. Somebody kind of hit me to the PBC card getting announced, and they said it would be a big name attached, but they said I'd be extremely annoyed by the matchup. And I am extremely annoyed by the matchup. Yes, Keith Thurman is I guess you can still consider him a big name. This is a guy who hasn't fought in literally years by the time this fight occurs. I jokingly say he's a retired fighter, and well, he is a retired fighter. I mean, if you're having years in between your bouts, you're retired or you're unemployed. One of the two. You can't be an active fighter if you're not active. That's the key word there. You have to be active. He's not an active fighter right now. So that part I don't really get. Why him in this situation? But again, I also get it because he has name recognition, and I think they're hoping The Keith Thurman fans, the casuals who recognize his name, will say, "Oh, I'll order this on Amazon Prime, pay per view." So now that you have to subscribe to Amazon Prime, you then have to buy it through pay per view. Now for Tim Tszyu, I get this as well. This puts a name on his resume, but what does it actually do? You're facing a guy who's older, who's inactive, and who's moving up in weight. It doesn't do a ton for me. Quite honestly, I'm not excited for this fight in the least bit. I frankly don't care for this fight at all. And I'm not. This is not me sandbagging PBC or anything like that. It's not an interesting fight to me. A welterweight moving up in weight who hasn't fought in years to face Tim Tszyu just doesn't do anything for me. I salute to Tim Tszyu, who's wanted to take fights, wanted to stay active while he's still waiting on Charlo and his opportunity there at 154. So saluting for that. I'm not mad at him at all. But this matchup just doesn't do it for me. It does nothing. As far as Rolly and Pitbull Cruz goes, Rolly's a lot of talk, not as much substance. And I think a guy like Cruz, who fought so well in a losing effort against Tank Davis, I think he's a guy who's realizing that this is his opportunity. He gets a belt. He has something he can bring to a table. Maybe he can try to coerce Tank Davis into a rematch somehow. So this is his opportunity, and I think he's going to cash in. So for that, I'm a little bit intrigued by that, just to see if Cruz can take him out. And again, Rolly's now split up from his longtime trainer. There's rumors of him having a messed up back. It's a lot of stuff coming out that is interesting. It's making you question, okay, how physically and mentally prepared will Rolly be for this fight here come next month, come March. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But that is going to be your first fight here on PBC on Amazon. And like I said, I'm not wowed by it. I'm pretty doggone disappointed that is behind a paywall for that particular fight. But I digress. It's not my money. I'm not spending my money on it. Whatever. Another fight that I'm also not spending any money on is none of us will be, at least for the immediate future, as Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, the unified championship here in the heavyweight division. Now, this was a fight, and I want to make sure I get the dates right here as far as they're going to do the rematch. This was a fight supposed to happen here at the end of the month, end of February, but unfortunately Tyson Fury suffered a cut, pretty nasty gash if you've seen that on social media, while he was working out, sparring. So he suffered a nasty cut. The fight's now gotten pushed back. The fight's now going to be rescheduled for May the 18th. I knew it was later here this year. So that's a nasty cut that he has. It's going to take time to heal. A lot of people are saying there's some kind of conspiracy theory behind this. I'm not going to go that far with that and say it's a conspiracy theory that Fury purposely got himself cut to push the fight back. I will say it did feel, for this being a unification bout for all the belts in the heavyweight division, and for the lineal, can't leave that part out, championship here in the heavyweight division, it just didn't seem it had as much energy or buzz about it. Now, I'll pause a little bit on that with the caveat of this fight is going to be international. It's going to be in the Middle East, where all the money and all the big fights are going to now. So maybe that was part of it, with it not being in the UK, with it not being in America. It's not really in a typical location for boxing and for fights like this, to where that buzz may not have been there, because everyone's going to pretty much have to travel to go see that if you can afford it. So maybe that's why this didn't have the buzz in the weeks leading up to it that a typical fight of this nature would have had. But also some are saying, how serious was Tyson Fury taking this? You didn't really hear much from him here in the recent months, and really since his unfortunate draw or split decision win, which he really lost that fight against Francis Ngannou. He's been pretty quiet, which is not typically Tyson Fury like. You would typically hear him on social media saying some kind of rubbish or calling out Usyk, and there was really none of that here in the recent weeks and months. So you wondered a little bit where his head was at, where his confidence is at after losing, or people questioning, saying you lost against an MMA fighter. So it's a little interesting there. And I mean, Usyk is not really a talker one way or the other. So, maybe with this fight now getting delayed, maybe it'll be a little bit more juice, a little bit more buzz from both of these guys. But now we have to wait until May. So a lot in the world can happen between now and May. Let's hope everybody makes it there safe and healthy for that fight. Well, while that was being announced, the delay and now the rescheduling of that, another fight has been announced, and looks like it's finally going to come to fruition is Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol. All the belts here, light heavyweight, look like they're going to be on the line there in Saudi Arabia as well. That's scheduled for sometime in June. I love that. I hope, again, these are two guys who both, inactivity, injury, weird things happen with them. Let's put them both in a physical bubble suit and, keep them safe at all costs to make sure this fight actually occurs in June, because that's a hell of a fight. That is a very competitive fight. Beterbiev is an actual, just a destroyer there in the ring. Just systematically breaks his guys down. Has hands of bricks. It seems like Dmitry Bivol can be very meticulous, methodical there in the ring. So it's an interesting contrast of styles that I want to see how this fight plays out. Some people are saying Bivol may box Beterbiev's top off. Some people are saying Bivol's going to knock him out, going to crush him. I don't know. That's what makes this fight intriguing and something I'm definitely interested in come June. So again, though, that's a long time away. I mean, we're talking here in February for a fight in June. Now, mind you, these guys both had fights recently, so I'm going to back off a little bit with Bivol having a fight here in Quebec. Was it here in January? We had that fight in Quebec. I know Bivol fought on a card here a couple of months ago. So these guys have recently fought, so I'm okay. Just again, given their history, let's hope both these guys make it to June healthy and in one piece so we can have this fight. So we have those fights announced. We also have a interesting card that I may even physically go to myself and visit because, well, I like the area. So you're going to have Oscar Valdez fighting here. Let me pull up my press release. He's going to be fighting here in March back in Glendale, Arizona. You could say Phoenix. He's going to be fighting there on that card. Let me pull it up. He's going to be facing Liam Wilson. I forgot already. That's your headliner, but quite honestly, the main event, I think a lot of people and what everyone's looking for too, is a unification bout between Seniesa Estrada and I know I'm going to mispronunciate this, so I apologize ahead of time. Yukaska Valle. This is going to be for the belts here in the minimum weight division here for the ladies. So various belts on the line. They had their press conference today. Both these ladies look like they're in phenomenal shape. Beautiful women. Beautiful women boxing is a great thing. But this is going to be a fun fight because both these women are very skilled, very talented. Golden Boy and Top Rank working together with this, and Seniesa, formerly a Golden Boy fighter, looking to take the belts and beat a champion from Golden Boy. It's going to be a fun time. So that's going to be in Arizona here at the end of March. Again, something I may honestly pull up to myself and go witness live and in person. Seniesa Estrada is one of these people who are on my bucket list to go see in person. So it's going to be my opportunity to go see her fight live. So looking forward to that. What else here in boxing here that I want to ramble on about? Really not a ton. I mean, I am a little bit disappointed we haven't had more fights announced from PBC in regards to their deal here with Amazon. We've just got the one fight here for March. There are other dates that people have kind of dissected and seen from various promoters who work with PBC, have locked down dates for certain arenas in certain parts of the country. But again, no announcements are being made, which is weird. You see cryptic tweets from Gervonta Davis, him possibly working with Matchroom Boxing in a fight with Conor Benn, who just had a victory here in Las Vegas this past weekend. I'll be brutally honest here. That fight makes no sense. It does nothing for Tank Davis. It does nothing for Conor Benn. I mean, one guy has not been accused. I mean, he failed a drug test and tried to blame it on eggs. You got another guy who's had a checkered past in regards to arrests and what have you, and now has converted to Islam. Maybe he's trying to change his ways, which all of us can do. So I'm not bagging on Tank Davis there. I know forgive me for not knowing his newly converted Muslim name, and no disrespect there. So I know him by Tank Davis, so I'm going to call him here. So that's a fight that's being talked about, but again, it makes no sense. It doesn't. I guess it makes money. They say that, I mean, Tank has been able to bring out a crowd. It's an opponent for him. He should probably make a decent payday doing it, fighting here in the U.S., because he does have a pretty big fan base. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But one thing I'm noticing and hearing his trainers and his team talk is Tank Davis is a prize fighter. And I mean that in the most respectful way, and I'll explain. There's nothing wrong with being a prize fighter. A prize fighter is someone who's literally just fighting for cash. They're fighting for prizes. That's what he's doing. Uh, his fights here recently with Ryan Garcia, and especially here this Conor Benn fight, they aren't for championships. They're not for ranking and pound for pound. All of us who really knew boxing knew Ryan Garcia had little to no chance against Tank Davis because skill set. Ryan just doesn't have the skill set. I mean, he's got a lot of sizzle and he's got a good skill set, but not. It's a big gap between him and Tank in regards to that. So none of us were surprised by that. Uh, well, we were surprised that Ryan quit with the body shot, but another story, another day. So you have that. This Conor Benn fight again, is it going to be some kind of weird catch weight? Is he going to move up to 147? Tank isn't a huge guy. He's short. He's a small guy. I mean, him moving up to 147 for a fight like this, or even a catch weight, I could kind of see if Conor Benn's moving down. I wonder about that. And quite honestly, with him having the history of the failed drug test, how much power will he have? How much juice will be in Conor Benn if he has to move down in weight? Is there going to be rehydration clauses like it was with Ryan Garcia? But I mean, it's just a lot of things here. But like I said, kind of get back to my point. Tank Davis is a prize fighter. He is going to take bouts that are going to make him the most money. Now, if those bouts include titles, sure, great. If it is against another guy who's amongst the top 10 pound for pound, or on that outer cusp, a victory over that person, would it make sense to bump him up in the rankings to where that would be a valuable, thing you can say, hey, I'm fighting another top pound for pound fighter? Sure. But again, the money's the main thing, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at securing the bag, but we also have to be realistic here and look at this from my aspect as someone who votes in various different panels on various different ranking boards for various different things, which we don't really talk about for a lot of purposes, but just various different ranking boards and organizations, that when you have a guy who's just focused on those kind of bouts, do we want to even rank him? Like, why am I ranking a guy here at 140 who's not facing the best at 140? Or not facing the best at 135, and really just seems to not have a ton of interest in doing that. These are competitive fights and fighters and opponents we want to see him face, but the politics of boxing into the way, quote unquote, or there's bigger money to face this guy because this promoter or some entity overseas is willing to pay more money for it. These kind of things occur, and it's crappy for boxing fans. We get fights that we don't really request, want, ask for, need, or anything like that. But these fighters get paid, and at the end of the day, they are putting their bodies on the line. I mean, they're putting their lives on the line, going in a ring and fighting. So I can't be mad at them securing the bag, but they also have to accept the criticism they get when they're not facing a plus opponent. They're not facing a guy, who's ranks among them in their respective division and weight class. So they can't get angry and pissy at the fans when they say, well, this fight sucks, or why are you fighting this guy and not that guy? So, it is what it is with that. I'll just leave it at that. So there's my rant on Tank Davis. Maybe the next time I do one of these videos, maybe in 3 months, this fight will actually be booked or maybe even happen at this rate. But again, I do apologize. I will be better about doing these. I want to try to build this back up again. I'm slowly getting myself back into doing more media stuff and covering fights and doing all that. Podcasting will probably never happen again, but at least I'm here for you, the YouTube fans. So, again, drop me a line here below, comment sections down here. Like and subscribe is also somewhere down here. Do all of that stuff. I would appreciate it. Again, yeah, we'll do these more. I'll go on more rants. Like I said, my plan is here soon. You never know. It may even be for the PBC fight. You never know. I'm going to do one of these live as the fights are occurring. Obviously, I can't show them for legal purposes. I'm already enough trouble with YouTube. But we're going to do more of these here and hopefully do some live simulcasting here of the fights as well. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow me on X or Twitter or whatever the hell we're calling it now. Brandon P2TF. So Brandon punch to the face. So, hey. So again, appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay blessed, love one another. That's the only way we can get through this. Spring training starting soon, thank God, since my Cowboys suck. So go Sox. Until next time, y'all stay safe, stay blessed.